Vegetarian Kids, Reality or Myth? The first movie. Meat food cannot be gotten without harm to animals, and killing animals complicates path to bliss. Therefore, let a person refrains from eating meat. Law of Manu, the Vedas. Remember, in the future may come those who, under the influence of their attachment to the meat, will build various ingenious arguments to justify eating meat. Whatever it was, eating meat in any form, in any way, anywhere is uniquely and permanently prohibited. Shakyamuni Buddha, Lankavatara Sutra. And the flesh of slain beasts in his body will become his own tomb. For I tell you truly, he who kills, kills himself, and whoso eats the flesh of slain beasts, eats the body of death. Jesus, the Essenic Gospel of Peace. Fear God, do not torture animals, use them until they serve willingly, and release them when they are tired, and give them wordless plenty of food and drink. Muhammad. The widespread point of view on a vegetarian diet is the idea of its extreme insufficiency to provide the human body with nutrients. As practice shows, it is, to say the least, not quite true. Indeed, that number of amino acids which is in a piece of meat you won't find in any plant product. However, nothing prevents a person to eat 2 plant products and completely cover his need for irreplaceable amino acids. All the more so, there are not only 2 of them, but a lot more, right? And there is absolutely no problem for a person to live a rational, balanced vegetarian diet. It is a very big myth that meat in any form, meat of animals, is 100% necessary, that it is impossible to do without it, that without it the body does not operate normally. Well, now I am increasingly coming to the fact, and now there are a lot of researchers, I am currently researching this topic, that the synthesis of these supposedly irreplaceable amino acids occurs by itself in the body. There is a synthesis from other substances. And it is really myth which doctors suppose that these irreplaceable amino acids are only in animal meat. I don't see anything indication that there is lack of them in my body. I believe that all reasonable people will sooner or later come to vegetarianism, and there is no need in making any special efforts for this. As soon as a person begins to grow spiritually, as corny as it may sound, it happens by itself. I came to vegetarianism by chance, just give up meat for a while once with the recommendations during the Christian fast. And then I decided that I do not need it, not even going into some deeper details how bad meat is, just decided that I do not need it and realized that it really helps me feel better, look better and sense myself better. I have a direct bearing on vegetarianism, as I am a vegetarian myself, and I think that this is the optimal food system for all people, regardless of region of their residence and climate. My husband urged me on this because he's a vegetarian already for 17 years. I realized what it was, and I wanted to be with him on the same wavelength. That is, before the pregnancy I stopped eating meat, fish and eggs, well, for 5 years already. We came consciously to vegetarianism. To some period of time we realized that it's something wrong with our food. It is too heavy for us. We had a lot of vegetarian friends around us and we felt like white crows because we ate everything. And our friends around were vegetarians, and however we often noticed that they were fresher, more cheerful, they froze less, some other pluses saw in them. 3 years ago we went to India, and already before that trip we somehow did not really want to eat meat, but everyone ate it and we ate a little bit too. And there we learned massages in the Ayurvedic clinic, and we were thoroughly explained how meat affects our health. And the most interesting thing is that in India 99% of people are vegetarians. In this clinic all the patients were that 1% of people who ate meat. That is, all were in clinic who ate meat. And they were having problems with their spine, radicular arthritis, because of which all our grandmothers and grandfathers suffer. And it is considered the norm that all of them walk crooked in the old age and everything aches. Nothing like this is there. Grandmas are sitting on their haunches. This is the norm. And only those people who ate meat were in that clinic, and the main therapy for them was the condition if they are willing to give it up or not. If they are ready, they were accepted as patients. If not, the therapy for them is not even initiated, because it is useless. And we just looked at all this, passed a blood test, and it turned out that we had very high acidity, because we had been meat eaters during all these years, and so we at once refused from meat. We lived there for 3 months, and their meat was nowhere for all these 3 months, but we survived it quietly, came home and no longer ate meat. Speaking about the necessity of vegetarianism, my inner deep conviction that a person, not my idea, a person consists of what eats, isn't he? And when a person eats food for which someone had to kill, to be honest, it is simply unpleasant for me. In fact, if you try to eat meat without spices, you will understand, especially if it is raw meat. It is not that taste that you need, and the idea that in order for me to get the dubious pleasure, living beings must endure such suffering. In general, for me personally, beats of appetite and mood for meat eating. There are so many aspects in general why you should not eat meat, in the moral and physical aspects. On the whole, human body is not provided. Human is not a predator. Human does not have clothes, fox, we do not hunt. And now I see no point in eating not even meat, but carry on. And when since small years parents give their child meat, it's perceived as the norm, as it should be. Only later, being an adult, already being a mother myself, it became clear to me. I think it's just very helpful for a person, for my baby. I came to vegetarianism because I felt my body during pregnancy. In early pregnancy I still ate meat, but on the 2nd or 3rd month I could no longer eat meat. My body rejected it. I just vomited, and I felt how easy I bear pregnancy without meat, eating only vegetables, how it is better to recover after childbirth. I had no need to eat meat. During pregnancy I had a very interesting situation. Before this we have already been vegetarians for 2.5 years, and everything was super with health. That is, all the problems that we had before disappeared. And during pregnancy, probably because of the increased burden on the body, some difficulties appeared again. And we had the question, what should we do? Because we didn't want just to go to doctors and take pills. And we began to study different video materials, mostly on the internet, how we can cope with it by natural means. And in January we stumbled on a raw food diet, on the fact that it helps to cleanse the body. There were doubts how transition to raw diet would affect pregnancy. We just phoned some experts, phoned Marva Vagorshakovna-Aganyan, home midwife Tatiana Alexeyevna Malышeva, she lives in St. Petersburg, phoned Trikhlebov Alexey Vasilyevich, phoned everyone. Everyone said, do it, it will be just better. And first we experienced cleansing by Aganyan, fasting, drinking juices, herbal twice during a week. After that, you quit cleansing, still eating raw foods. We quit it and decided to prolong eating raw food a little and still eat raw food. Within 2 months, I changed diet, did cleansing, fasting, and it was my 4th month of pregnancy. And after that, during 2 months, all my problems disappeared. I just began to feel super, much better than before. And when we were giving birth, the midwife who was taking birth said that the water was very clear, but she had never seen such water. I think this is due to the raw food diet. Concerning health, when I was pregnant, I was a little interested in the issue of vegetarianism, whether there is a danger to children during pregnancy. Read some sites, other people's experience. I realized that there was no danger. I talked to a doctor too. I had small anemia during pregnancy. I was told that it was because of no meat. Some professors said that still it was not connected with meat due to the structure of red blood cells. I calmed down. Then one much respected pediatrician homeopath said that her son was a vegetarian for 7 years and is vibrant and healthy. When I stopped thinking about it and everything was good, I realized that the kids eat what the parents eat. They even do not suffer in these regards. When I gave birth, we were almost 90% on raw food diet. Now we continue to be on the same diet, and I must say that pregnancy itself elapsed very well. I felt cheerful and healthy. I did not have any toxicosis, any swellings, any constipations, or something else that often happens with pregnant women. I connect these, of course, with food, because all the rest, sedentary work, lack of air, a little walking I had, but the food, I believe, helped to cope with illnesses, more correctly not to meet illnesses. Well, I can say that while Lada was the eldest child, she was very small, skinny, and everyone around was saying it was of course because she did not eat meat. And the second child was born and vice versa was very large. Of course, everybody after that breathed a sigh, and it became clear that it was not because of meat. And compared with other children, they get sick less or recover faster, that is, they have immediate reaction. Maybe it is because of the fact that we do not cure phonetically. Children normally, typically develop. We do not get sick. We also were never vaccinated. In winter we, at best, just once for a single day cope with any virus, usually quickly. She was born strong. Physically she is full of force. She is galloping. Not since birth, of course, but now is galloping. Turns somersaults, does some physical exercises that for her age is not yet peculiar. Physically very healthy child. Strong. We were scared by everyone about teeth, vegetarians' teeth, that all the teeth will soon turn black, fall out, but the teeth are strong, no problems at all with teeth. Health is good, there are no abnormalities with health. She is not very capricious, that is, there is no such capriciousness. There is always an opportunity to come very quickly. I think this is the main thing because you look at the children and react more on this capriciousness. Kids cry sometimes strongly. I think we don't have such problem. Everything is quiet, active, calm. I have not had children before. I cannot compare what is the difference between meat-eater's children and not meat-eater. But looking at my kid, I can see that he is very well developed, very lively. We were doing a dynamic gymnastics. Suppose did it literally from the first day. Poured cold water, and a year has passed. Our child had never been sick. Although this winter there were terrible flus, our neighbors' children were sick for 3 times. We did not experience this. We only had runny nose just for a couple of days. We were drinking aloe juice with honey in the nose, and everything passed. Nothing more was, neither with him nor with us. He learned to sit and crawl very early at 5 months. At 8 months began to walk with parents' hand. It's also early. I think it becomes of the fact that we did dynamic gymnastics. It strengthens the muscles well. We are doing gymnastics since we are a year and a half. We started to jump on the trampoline early and to walk on the log by ourselves excellently. And for her age, not in my opinion, but in the opinion of the coaches who walked with us, teachers to whom we went on development classes for kids, they said that our baby is a little ahead of his age. Speech began to develop rapidly. She began to speak very clearly with complex sentences already in the year and a half. Some children in 3 years cannot talk so like such children in a year or 2. When Roma was born, there were some doubts, but I found Aganyan, Shatalova, academicians. They say that, on the contrary, meat will harm if I eat it, and if my child eats it. It was even scientific proof. After childbirth, I had very low hemoglobin, lost a lot of blood. Doctors insisted that I eat meat. But nevertheless I did not eat, and after 3 months pediatrician asked a lot of questions, what diet I had and why Roma and I have such good hemoglobin, how I achieved it. Of course, I did not have any doubts about the food, and I went to the women's clinic only one single time in order to take a blood test. However, they did not know that I am a vegetarian, and biochemistry was wonderful, good. The rest was normal, all parameters were normal. Then I refused the services of women's clinic, just did not go there. I didn't get any certificates, gave birth at home. When you respect and appreciate your relatives and loved ones, especially parents, it is a little difficult to persuade them that I'm doing everything right, everything here is well. Close relatives initially accepted this not very well. Of course, but they insisted that a mother certainly needs meat broth, chicken broth. It's impossible to live without that. A child must obligatory eat eggs and everything else. But now, for example, my mom went to vegetarianism. She does not eat meat, thanks to the efforts of my brother, who went with her to one lecturer, gave her to listen to lectures. She was in the kitchen cooking and listening to these lectures and gradually moved to the same system of food that we have. Relatives reacted normally. They, of course, do not support us, do not follow us yet, but reacted normally because they are already accustomed to the fact that if we decide something, then it will be impossible to stop us. In the beginning, we asked a lot of questions. Where will be taking a protein, vitamins, like B12, iron worries everyone all the time. And we also started asking where we are going to take protein, and realized that we would take it everywhere. Plant products contain it in a sufficient amount. We saw this on our experience and see that a child is all right. We do not worry. They just humbled themselves by that time that we are vegetarians. They just saw that we only get better from this. So at that moment there was no pressure from relatives' side. Although some relatives said, "You're so emaciated, pregnant, you need to eat meat." I said, okay, to avoid resistance. And that's all. Everything was fine with relatives. Parents dissuaded, and still are dissuading in principle, insist that the nursing mother, a pregnant woman, should eat a lot of products. But our parents were brought up in a slightly different culture. We respect, understand them, but we do not accept their point of view. You know, I still have problems with my parents. Imposing has place. Oh, you're so skinny. And they are on the contrary large, eat meat and impose their point of view. Although have problems with their health, but nevertheless I cannot convince them. This stereotype that it is obligatory, just propaganda, comes from television, from simple films, and it is very difficult when people were eating meat for 50 years to prove that it is harmful. They do not want to know, turn a blind eye. Everyone literally, when they found out that I was pregnant, who should and who should not, just started attacking me that I should eat meat. We had no experience. When I was recorded in the women's clinic, the nurse told me, "I did not have any pregnant vegetarian. You will not survive." I regretted that I confessed to doctors that we were vegetarians, because they do not understand how it works. During all pregnancy we were told scary things. I even didn't have ultrasound yet, and I was frightened all the time that the baby is very small, weak. But when she was born with a weight of 3,800, it appeared that she was not small and skinny, and everything is fine. Doctors were worried more than we were. There were a lot of closely familiar doctors who frightened me in every way and told me that I would feel bad, that I would lose weight, that anemia will develop. But again, having certain medical basis, I realized that their suspicions may be justified. Therefore, the first few years I regularly took blood tests to look at the level of my hemoglobin and erythrocytes. Indeed, the first 2.5 years their concentration was at the lower limit of normal. However, the last few years common indicators are more than pleasing. No special medical preparation on this occasion I do not take. I tried not to raise this issue with the doctors. I did not tell them, "Listen, I am a vegetarian, can you prescribe me something special?" I just kept silent. But all tests were normal and there was no failure for all pregnancy. The last time we were at clinic in 11 weeks, when she was removed some shellfish allergy, it was outside. Neither the teeth nor anything else bothered us, to be honest. Do not know what the doctors said. We did not visit them. But of course, when I was at 8 months of pregnancy, I went to get a card that I was pregnant. They began telling me that I had low hemoglobin, etc. But again, I found all those people who stick to the natural approach, and they all told me this is totally normal hemoglobin, taking into account that you do not eat meat, and all is well. I calmed down and all was well. I did not lose consciousness, what happens with low hemoglobin. I was not like this. On the contrary, on the last month of pregnancy, when all lie and cannot move, I could not stay at home any day. Every day I walked for half of the city, because I could not sit. On the contrary, I never walked so much, even being non-pregnant, really just half of the city back and forth with a big belly. All my acquaintances whom I brought to vegetarianism do not regret that switched to vegetarianism. Try, do an experiment for yourself, and you will see that it really brings good. I wish mummies not to adopt, not to listen to our doctors, and I wish them not to be vaccinated in no case, just be vigilant. I would like them to believe in themselves, to realize that they are responsible for their child. Not a pediatrician, but she herself bears responsibility for her child. That she was mindful, understand that a child's health is more important than any 7-minute needs. that she does not feel better if she gives up and will eat meat, and the child will eat meat. There are the values of the different order. I would wish them more love to themselves, to their family, when all doubts go away, if it is unanimous decision of the family. You cannot simply be a vegetarian if your family, your husband do not agree. Just more love to their family, to their children. Then the topic will not stand up abruptly. You should listen to yourself, nothing new. Listen to yourself and look at the event of life, collate and analyze. This also applies to vaccinations. It applies to eating habits, lifestyle. See how much people are happy. I would like to advise to listen to yourself more, to your body, to your opinion, and not to force yourself, not to do anything that you do not want to do, and not to try to convince others, but simply to show by your own example that everything is all right and all is well. I would wish such mothers, expectant mothers, as well as children, adults, men and women, to think that you are responsible for beings, that its people are the supreme beings on the earth. We should take care of our little brothers. If you act like these, like kill innocent beings, then where is the guarantee that you or your children would not be treated like this? So, let's think about it. I will say it differently, okay? If you during pregnancy will eat meat, it's very scary. This is a very strong impact on the child and on you. It's not advisable. I do not advise anyone. If you want to be cheerful, to have a happy, close-knit family, vegetarianism is the reference point from which you should make a start and around which you should develop yourself. Vegetarianism is not the only component part. There are a lot of components, but everyone begins with it. From what I want to warn people who are beginning to think over, it is not necessary to rush fanatically. When a man comes home and says, "Let us throw everything out of the freezer, eat only beans," it's silly, because emotional impulse will necessarily pass and people will come back again with the emotional shock, with the idea that it was not for them. People must be changed inside to become a vegetarian. The only way to change, two ways. First is to communicate with people who have this experience, who has clean, perhaps, look at this world. And the second is the practice, personal practice, observance of the regime of the day, observance of correct and good relations with others, with close people, relatives, compliance with laws of the world. There is an understanding that a person can live long and happy life only if he moves in one direction along with the world that surrounds him. On a practical and selfish level, this means that if a person does not understand that he should sleep at night, work during the day, he should eat. When the sun is at its zenith, he should eat only correct things. This man has very, very little chance to live a healthy and long life, because by his existence he struggles with the laws of the world, he struggles with the laws of the earth. The earth is bigger, stronger, smarter than any of us taken separately, and we do not have any chances to win the battle with the laws of the world. We can only understand these laws, accept and follow them, and then the world will support us, and then we will live happily ever after. Join! Additional information on healthy eating is available on the website om.ru in the section Literature. If you have a desire to share your experiences of vegetarianism, please mail to veg@om.ru.